I'm dropping out of college for the second time. This is not a drill. This is actually happening. If you're new here, let me give you a little history lesson so that I can get you up to speed onto why. In 2017, I graduated from high school and I decided to go to film school at UC Davis. And it became apparent like pretty quickly that film school just wasn't the right thing for me. I think the first real red flag was when in one of my first film classes, the TA, not even a teacher, the TA told me that I put down a tripod wrong. How do you even do that, / who cares how you put down a tripod? Anyway, so after that, I kind of already had that doubt of, okay, I'm not interested in like traditional Hollywood or feature films or anything, so I just like to make YouTube videos. I was just getting really frustrated with learning only theory and not learning like filmmaking skills, which is what I wanted to go to film school for. I was learning a lot more on my own with my videos and learning from friends and stuff like that, so I decided to drop out. Like when I came to that decision, I had a really in-depth talk with my mom about what the future of college looked like for me, because it wasn't like, oh, I'm dropping out and then I'm never going back. It was assumed that I was going to go back to study business because I want to start my own business one day. I thought it would be more useful to go to college to learn more businessy things instead of like creative things that I'm sort of pursuing on my own anyway. So I dropped out of film school and I went to China to work as a video editor intern for the summer / fall. It was at an advertising agency, and I basically realized that working in like a corporate setting definitely was not my cup of tea. Like if I could avoid it, I would. And it was at that point that I came to the conclusion that if I want to do something like creative as a job, working for myself is going to be really important to maintain that creative freedom, which is like kind of hard to do and a pretty big goal. I basically don't have a choice. If I want to have a career that I love, like I'm gonna have to make this work. Yeah, the only logical next step seemed to go back to school, to business school, like I had promised my mom. And so that's what I did, even though I did have a ton of doubt about going back to school. Came back to school here in Chicago, learning arts management. Some of you may have noticed that on my channel I've kind of been a little bit MIA, or just not, I've been posting like regularly, but I just haven't been putting, maybe there just hasn't been that same spark. I don't know, you tell me, but I think it's been pretty noticeable that something's been off maybe. I do think my channel is like a representation of me, or it's like a direct reflection of me. And it's not that I haven't been doing so well, it's just I guess I've been really overwhelmed by like, am I doing the right thing? What else should I do if I wouldn't go to school? Is college right for me? Like all these things. It's taken away from actually just making things, and I haven't been able to talk about it on camera either because I didn't want to worry people, like specifically my parents, about, you know, wanting to drop out again. But yeah, this feels so good that I can finally talk about it again because oh my god, I feel like I haven't properly just like told you what's actually on my mind for a long time now. Funny story. A random old video of Sarah Dietschy's popped up on, you know, in my recommended a little while ago. And it was an old video of hers, like right after she dropped out, she made. And literally in that video, she talks about how like her general classes, her GEs, like English and history were so annoying and pointless. Like the 2 GEs I'm currently going through right now are English and history, and I complain about them every single day to my friends because they are so annoying and sort of pointless. Like the amount of similarities was just like it was kind of crazy. And that was the first time I was like, should like even considered like the possibility of dropping out. And then a couple weeks ago, I was talking to some of my friends who I met at my meetup. You know, we're all creatives, we're all in college, going through similar things, similar thoughts. And at some point, someone said like, okay, so why are we still in college if what we want to do doesn't necessarily require a college degree? I think he finally brought up the point that we had all been thinking about, that I had been thinking about for the past half year plus, but just hadn't really admitted to myself or to anyone else. And I was like, you know what, you're like sort of right. And I definitely wouldn't have been able to come to this conclusion if it weren't for talking to friends who are going through similar decisions and who had similar experiences, or like being inspired by people like Sarah. Or yeah, I think that was the final push I needed to finally make up my mind. And when I went home last week or 2 weeks ago now for spring break, I brought it up to my parents. Let's just say they weren't thrilled, understandably. Like, my parents, they grew up in a time where college was like the ticket out of their current situation and towards a better life. Like, one of the things that has been holding me back for so long about not going through with this decision was that feeling of guilt. Like, am I throwing away this opportunity that I'm so privileged to be able to even have by just being like, I want to do my own thing? Like, I just felt really guilty about that, and it's definitely the biggest thing that's been holding me back. My parents were not thrilled at first, but eventually they came around. I did have to send them like a letter afterwards, like explaining everything and being like, no, I was dead serious last time we talked about this. I wasn't kidding. I'm super lucky to have awesome parents who believe in me, and even though it did take a lot of convincing, they're willing to let me take this chance, and I'm super grateful for that. So basically, the compromise we came to was that I have a year to sort of prove this, basically. So by this time next year, if I haven't made a lot of progress towards, you know, I have to be like on track. I have to be at the point where like going back to school just literally wouldn't make sense. And that is a big goal, but I'm so excited to finally be able to give this like 100%. And I'm not going in with this mindset of I'm going back to school in a year. I'm going in with the mindset of I'm making this happen now. This channel is all about me documenting my creative process, so I'm gonna be filming the whole time, really focusing on this channel and my freelance business and just being a digital content creator. So I'm very excited. I wanted to make this video like a really big thing and like complicated and use stop motion and all this stuff, but I wanted to make sure that maybe if some of you watching are going through similar like experiences or thoughts, because I know from just my friends, like there's a ton of other people considering like, is college right or not for me? It's not uncommon, and if you are experiencing similar things right now, just talk about it with friends, reach out to other creatives who are either have more experience than you or are going through like similar things. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like for a long time it's sort of been like, okay, what's the next step? And now I know. And even though I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing this next year, I'm leaving it pretty open on purpose to allow for whatever happens to happen. I'm really excited to document the achievements as well as the failures, which are definitely going to happen. So, and this year is gonna be pretty crazy. I don't know what to say. So you better be subscribed if you aren't already. Make sure you follow me on all my other socials, meaning Twitter and Instagram, because if I'm not posting on here, I'm posting on there. So even though I'm going to be posting more on here. And thank you so much for watching. For those of you who have been like following me for a while, this is probably like an interesting turn of events. Some of you have been watching since I dropped out of film school the first time. Let me know if you saw this coming. I will talk to you next week with another new video. Bye.